the Dark Ages is shaping up to be one of the best games of 2025. I've been stoked for it ever since it was revealed last year, and doubly so after the Xbox showcase a couple months ago. But it is not without its fair share of manufactured controversy, mainly a few fringe individuals in the what want to consider themselves the anti-woke camp, calling the game woke for things like daring to have women in it, women, that are actually probably strong and capable because it's Doom and everyone needs to be strong and capable, or the fact that it's got difficulty sliders and accessibility reasons, and do I think it's woke? No, not at all. I never once have said that. In fact, I've actively made fun of morons like Yours Torch Games who claimed as such, but that doesn't mean that the director hasn't noticed, and he has actually made a clarification, nay, a statement on the matter. So welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and yes, Doom the Dark Ages director responds to woke ages criticisms. I can't believe he needs to do this. In fact, I don't think he needs to do this. And when you read through it here, I won't lie, I disagree completely with what he's saying. Now, that being said, just because I disagree doesn't mean I think the game is woke. No, if anything, I think that he is saving face and addressing the controversy in the wrong way, while also trying to, shove the blame onto the fringe minority of folks that are calling the game woke. So two things can be true. So before we get into this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news nearly every day. And yes, when Doom the Dark Ages releases later this year, the game will feature multiple sliders, allowing players to tailor the experience to their desires. I have a problem with this. I inherently do. Now, this might be a divisive opinion, I don't know, but this is the way I feel about these sorts of games. Back in the day, the glory days of gaming, because I'm an old, we had options. Yeah, first of all, back in the old days, there was no options. Games were just hard. Like Aladdin and Lion King on the SNES and Sega Genesis, that had one difficulty setting. Fucking difficult. Super Ghouls and Ghosts, one difficulty setting. Hard as shit. Things like that. But then we get into the era, the 3D gaming experience, and all of a sudden you start getting difficulty options. Easy, medium, hard. Sometimes you beat a game and you get, like God mode, things like that. And everything was chill. It didn't need to be anything so, expansive as to have these sliders. And I just think it's too much. I do. Don't fix what ain't broken. I don't think that difficulty in games are particularly something that need to be addressed. We kind of cracked the code on that in the mid-90s, and this just seems excessive to me. They can claim it's for accessibility, or they can claim it is for, what they're going to go on to claim later on in this article, which is, well, yeah, it actually adds a bunch of new options. It's going to tailor the gameplay experience and make it more replayable, and we'll get to that when we get to that. But the point is, I'm sorry, no. Maybe it's just because I'm an old school gamer, but yeah, we've been seeing games be way too easy for the last several years. If you compare games from the 80s and 90s and even early 2000s to nowadays, man, most modern games are just ridiculously easy by comparison, and they really shouldn't be. The more you grow, the harder these games should get, because you don't have the same reflexes you used to, or you're not used to new mechanics, you're not used to new controllers, or whatever it may be. Take a gamer from the 80s and then try and give him a GameCube. A lot of them couldn't play these modern games because things had, shifted so drastically, even though the games were honestly probably technically easier. And so yeah, no, as somebody that has been playing games for a long time and is in my 30s now, why these games feel easier when they shouldn't? That's because they're actively making games easier, probably for the TikTok generation brain, the folks that need to be in the action all the time, the folks that just need that instant gratification, and because folks will be emotionally damaged if they get stuck on one boss for 6 months at a time, like used to happen back in the day. But again, that's just my theory. For those that are new to the series or just looking for an experience that's a little calmer, these options will allow them to significantly ratchet down the difficulty. Guys, this is Doom. If you are buying a Doom game, you shouldn't want calm. Doom is the opposite of calm. Its name is Doom. Since woke is often used as a catch-all term for things people on the internet don't like, this has prompted some to start calling the game woke ages, and director Hugo Martin directly addressed concerns about the game's difficulty level in a new video. Doom the woke ages. I've heard about this. I've seen the videos. Well, here's the thing about first of all, I don't agree with that. And yes, I would like to say at this point, I do agree with Hugo here. I agree 100% with Hugo Martin in that the game, to our knowledge at least, isn't woke. Putting in these difficulty sliders and whatnot, and putting in badass female characters is not woke. What would make it woke, you ask? If there's an agenda to it, if they're doing it to virtue signal, if they're trying to push a message that ends up, trumping the gameplay, the story, things to that effect. So no, at least as it currently stands, there is no reason to believe that Doom the Dark Ages will be woke. In fact, let's talk about pattern recognition. Neither of the previous two games in the recent Doom reboots were quote-unquote woke. In fact, they were awesome. Some of the best modern games that I've played in a long while. So yes, just to clear that up, no, I don't think the game is woke. I think he is entirely correct to disagree with that. But that doesn't mean this isn't still a problem. Really, when you think about options like sliders, the policy was to be good for both white belts and black belts. Full stop. No. I disagree with making games like Doom that have a reputation for being, Doom, more accommodating. I'm sorry, you can call it gatekeeping, you can call it whatever you want to call it. Not every game is for every person. Gaming as a medium is for everyone, sure. But not every game is for everyone. And when you try and make something for everyone, you're gonna make something for no one. So yes, at the end of the day, does the sliders and whatnot in Doom actually matter too terribly much? No, because Doom hopefully will still have the identity that it has, but this is indicative of a larger problem with game design in general. If we're going to allow you to slow the game down, we have to enable you to speed the game up. Well, no, you don't actually need to slow the game down. You give the base setting of difficulties like we had back in the day. You give the easium, the easy, the medium, the hard, the super hard, the god mode, whatever it may be, and people pick from that because that's how we used to do it and it worked fine. Just by giving the options to slow the game down doesn't mean you need to have the options to speed it up, because we were able to do that back in the day already. When you played Resident Evil 4 on normal mode, alright, it was a pretty normal experience. Then you beat the game and you unlock professional mode. Guess what? The game sped up. You didn't need to give the option to slow it down to have the option to speed it up. That was just normal progression. You beat the game on normal, you get comfortable, oh hey, look at this, it's pretty simple, and you move on. I mean, is there a better example of this than, let's say, Guitar Hero, where you've got easy, medium, hard, and expert, and it perfectly encapsulates progression and how you can get better and better at these games? That was a really good policy for everything. It was not a good policy for everything. So everything in the game, you can either make things super hard or super easy. And therein lies the problem. We should not be able to be making things super easy with these sliders. Again, if they wanted to put in an easy mode that was a default, same for everybody that chose it, alright, that would be one thing. But I'm sorry, I don't like this idea of tailoring the gameplay experience to yourself, because A, I'm sorry, that just seems like a waste of development resources that could have gone into other things, and B, who is this for? Like, the people that are going to be buying Doom should be Doom fans first and foremost, and those aren't the people that are going to be making the game easier anyway, because they're goddamn Doom fans. It's not like this is a new IP. This is one of the most famous gaming IPs in the world. Or just find that sweet spot somewhere in the middle, said Martin. Martin went on to note how these slider options can be combined in unique ways in Doom the Dark Ages, where slower does not always translate to easier. In fact, some slider combinations can actually make things more challenging for players rather than easier. In the video, the director notes how members of the team have experimented with these options, including combinations where projectile speed has been greatly decreased while their strength has been increased. It really enhances the three-dimensional shmup. Guess I'm a fake gamer because I got no idea what that means. The bullet hell experience that is kind of what classic Doom is. By the way, I would never call classic Doom a bullet hell. Bullet hell is a very specific type of game. Doom ain't it. And if we were in an era where Doom was being lumped in with bullet hells, my god, how the mighty have fallen. Classic Doom was a three-dimensional bullet hell, weaving between these slow-moving projectiles that hit really hard, and that's what creates the maze, and that's what encourages players to move. It really is the projectiles, and that's what we focus on for this game, said Martin. So, yes, let's talk about that. Oh, you can move these sliders to the left to, make the bullets really slow, but then move the impact really far to the right to make them hit really hard. Yeah, we used to have modes for this. Challenge mode. You play the game through as it is, whether it be easy, medium, hard, whatever, and then, oh, what's that? You unlocked 10 new challenges. Now you can go through and you can beat those. Maybe you get ranks for it and it'll unlock better guns or cosmetics or whatever. Like, the things you're describing that you can now do in-game could have actually been used to make an additional mode for people that want more after the gameplay experience is done. I mean, he goes on to claim that this helps with replayability, but no, nothing in me is going to want to play a slow Doom. That's antithetical to what Doom is. And you can make the argument, oh, well, they're trying to bring in new players. Why would you want to bring in new players at the cost of the identity of what this entire IP used to be? That, I'm sorry, those aren't the sort of new players I want to be conversing about with Doom. I want to be talking to Doom fans. I don't want to talk to somebody who plays Doom the Dark Ages, but can't go back and play Doom 3 on the Xbox 360, or God forbid, the original fucking Doom, which still holds up to this day. So I'm sorry, I find that to be a pathetic excuse when these same resources, you could have done this, but made them static and set mission by mission as some sort of bonus mode, some sort of arcade style thing, which is something that I would imagine actual Doom fans would enjoy for replayability purposes. The director compared the sliders to the equalizer on a radio. He also notes that the sliders could help give Doom the Dark Ages greater replay value, which we've already addressed and frankly I disagree with, as it will encourage players to try out different methods. No, it won't. Maybe it will, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say I do highly doubt it. I mean, maybe people will consistently try and make the game harder and harder, but they're not going to do, unless it's like for an interesting stream or because they're just genuinely curious, all these wonky things with the sliders. No, most just casual gameplay fans are going to play the game in a casual way. They're not going to try this wonky shit and play a start-to-finish playthrough of the campaign. It's a fascinating concept, and it does a great job of selling a feature that's not just encouraging accessibility for less experienced players, but also for those that have been given have been with the series from the start. We should not be encouraging accessibility for less experienced players. These less experienced players should just get good. Like, that's how gaming used to be, is you play and you learn and you get the muscle memory and you understand, oh hey, I've been through this corridor 6 times. I know there's going to be a dude around this corner, then 4 or 5 paces afterwards there's going to be a dude around the other corner, and I need to have my stuff ready. I need to manage my ammo. That's how gaming used to be. Again, trying to make it just so easy peasy for everybody is bad game design. It really is, because at that point, it's not Doom. If everyone's Doom game is different and tailored to them, you don't have a Doom game. You have a myriad of different games that just all happen to have the same visual aesthetics and control schemes. And to be fair, even the control schemes will probably be able to be changed. That's not too big of a deal, because, I mean, that's been staples in gaming for a while. But the point is, it's not Doom the Dark Ages. It's Doom the Dark Ages for you. And it shouldn't be for you. It should be for Doom fans, because what's the point? And again, what I estimate is ruining the game's identity over accessibility. And frankly, this isn't even accessibility, because making the games easier doesn't help with accessibility. I know people who can play with cerebral palsy who can beat Dark Souls. People whose like arms and legs and whatnot are all jacked up and they can't hold controllers properly. I've met dudes like that. They can beat those games on the highest difficulty. Why? Because they're gamers. They love the art of gaming. They practice that shit. Making the games easier, slowing things down and whatnot, they've actually said would not do anything for them. So, yeah, again, this is either a virtue signal for accessibility, or, which by the way would be woke, or it is a fundamental misunderstanding of people that are actually disabled in the gaming community, and they're taking the easy way out to get around it, which is far more likely by my estimation. Players will have to test out the sliders themselves, see the different ways they can play and enhance. I mean, at this point, it just asks, how do you feel about the sliders in Doom? And yeah, you can interact directly with this artist, with this author on Blue Sky. Who the fuck's gonna be using Blue Sky? No, again, I don't really have much more to say on this. In my opinion, I think I laid out pretty pat. Yeah, I'm sure folks are going to disagree. Oh, Leon, the sliders that's not going to ruin the game's identity. Gaming's for whatever it may be. Look, I don't care. Call me a gatekeeper, call me what you want. Doom should be Doom. And anything that runs the risk of alienating the identity of what Doom is should be called out and frowned upon. Now, does that make it woke? Is this Doom the woke ages? No, not at all. Again, I'm still super stoked for this game. I do think Doom the Dark Ages will be a fantastic game. I cannot wait to play it. But since the director decided to go on this diatribe about what he thought would help replay value and for accessibility and stuff like that, as a potential customer, and more than potential, I'm going to be getting this game, unless one of y'all want to gift it to me, yeah, no, I just feel like as a potential customer, I've got the right to speak my opinion on it. And frankly, even if it is fine in Doom, even if it ends up not being that big of a deal in this particular game, we've been seeing this more and more throughout the gaming industry and various AAA titles. And I think it's a bad route for gaming to go down in general. And this is just another entry into, a smorgasbord of games that are trying to make every game for everyone instead of acknowledging that while gaming's for everyone, not every game will be. And that's going to lead to the death of the industry, which at this point, I don't know if anyone's even really upset about, considering that at least the Western gaming industry has been abysmal for half a decade, if not more. But those are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, where you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I am a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news nearly every day. Not always about the gaming industry, but anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon, and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles I go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos I react to on my Friday night live streams, and of course, get involved with over 180 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further, because we do care about diversity. But only one kind of diversity of thought. If that's interesting to you, join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.